The characters that I most admire in every story was the teachers and the masters and the wise. And I think I want to be like this when I be adult. And I think that this is natural for someone that admire these figures to become a teacher. Not like a teacher, but like a student. What kind of doubts and what kind of difficulties I had in this time, in this age. I try not to teach them, but to show them how to discover by themselves. We try to connect the person to something new by things that this person already know. When we are kids and entering the school, we are like little monkeys. Make the student the center of the changing.
Hey Vicky, we have a new guest here and it's coming all the way from Brazil. Hello Leo.
Sounds great.
Greetings.
Greetings from Bulgaria, Leo.
Greetings from Brazil.
Yeah, so Leo with me is Victor. We are the founders of one interesting initiative here in Bulgaria. We are recording this podcast with teachers in Bulgaria in order to help them also learn something new from each other. So a good practice from one teacher will become a good practice for the others. Having this in mind, we invited you here due to a recommendation from Maggie. And I'm very thankful to her because she's your friend, right?
Yes, true. I feel fine if it can be useful for share my experience here.
Yeah, great. So let's start with you having to say, how do you accept yourself? Do you think yourself as a teacher, or you think that you are something else? What can you say about yourself?
My history is it's like a zigzag. In my first formation is in veterinary medicine, and after this I discovered that I feel more comfortable in academia than not in clinics. And after this I did bachelor in biology and start to be a teacher. For the last 5 years I am working just as teacher. And this is my reality now. I am more teacher than veterinary.
What happened so you made this turn from veterinary to teaching?
To teaching, we born to be teacher, I think. We feel happy when born with this inclination. I think that was natural to me do this migration because not that I was not happy in my profession, but I am more happy teaching than working as veterinary. Because of this, I did this migration. So I did a bachelor in biology, I did master and PhD, and now I am this way.
And what about when you were young? Did you have dreams to become a teacher?
Can say to you that when I watched some movie or read some story, the characters that I most admire in every story was the teachers and the masters and the wise. And I think I want to be like this when I be adult. And I think that this is natural for someone that admire these figures to become a teacher.
Yeah.
So you fulfilled your dream.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's
Perfect. That's great.
That's great, yeah. I'm inclining to ask you a little bit more about this. You are happy with the people that you are looking at, and you said that, okay, you admire these teachers, so it's natural for you to become a teacher. But then, why you became veterinarian in the first place?
This is a childhood dream too.
Okay.
Kids are often like animals, and when I was child, my mother let me have a lot of animals. Our home was like a small zoo, and when I finished the school, was like, well, all my life I care of animals in my home. Okay, I will be a veterinarian.
Okay, great. And now, having been a veterinarian and now being a teacher, what kind of people do you teach?
When I started to teach, I started in school. I started to teach teenagers in school, and I teach in technical school. And then when I finish my PhD, I start to teaching in university. And I teach in medicine school. I teach to nurseries and to biology too. And I still have my students from the school that still have contacts with me.
Okay, that's nice. How long have you been teaching in the university and not in school?
2 years.
So even for these 2 years, you still have contacts with your school students.
Yes, yes, because I like them, and I think that they like me too. And a lot of them in school said to me, "I wish to be veterinary like you." And I think I feel glad with this and hear this feedback from the students. And some of them really start the school of veterinary.
Sounds great. Can you share with us how you inspire these kids to want to be like you?
I think that I am saying I'm talking to them, but I am explaining the things to me too, and I feel glad when I understand something, and I think that they perceive that I am glad doing that.
Okay, so you're actually explaining to yourself, and when you understand this, you know that your school kids also understand it.
Yes, I think that this is maybe this do not sound empathetic, but I am in truth I put myself in the place of them, and I think if I had this mind, how would I will think about it? In truth, I try to put me in their age, in their place, not like a teacher, but like a student. What kind of doubts and what kind of difficulties I had in this time, in this age, and I think this it's I try to show them not I try not to teach them, but to show them how to discover by themselves.
That's great. Yeah.
Yes, sounds great.
Do you have anything that you want to share as a specific way of teaching or showing something in biology that was very inspiring to your kids?
Well, I try to put in practice some concepts of a Brazilian thinker, a Brazilian Paulo Freire. I don't know if he is no aboard, but here in Brazil, specifically in this time of our political stage, he is very rejected by the government. But in the past, this man did a great work to bring education to poor and illiterated people in Brazil. And Paulo Freire had a methodology that we try to connect the person to something new by things that this person already know. And I try when will show some specific issue that it's totally new to the students and they have no contact before. I try to find something in this subject that is related to something with their lives. Like when I am teaching about like statistics, for example, I try to show them how in their lives, in their homes, they can find a connection with the subject. I think that this turned the things more easy to understand because it's not just an abstract concept, but something real. It's concrete. They can touch something.
Exactly. We also believe the same thing that if we show the way of connecting with your current environment and your situation, it's the best way to add on new knowledge and experience it in the best way. So yeah, that's great.
You give more sense about what are you teaching.
Yeah.
I think that we are all humans and we think the same way. Our brains are the same. So uh, I believe that it's probably what work good with someone We work in the same way with others. It's hard to understand what connect, but when we discover this connection, the things run more easy.
And this coming from a biology teacher, we tend to agree with you because you probably know something about the brain and the biology behind it. So yeah, good.
Yes, yes. Paulo Freire is a man that lived in Brazil in 20th century, and he developed a methodology that it's like oppressed pedagogy. What is this? Is the theory? It's that the school it's like a structure built to make the status quo, the society, continue works like every working before. And this do not make changes. This is impossible to change something because the school is designed to keep the things like they are. But if you want to educate a people to change the reality of a poor people, you cannot continue doing the same things that ever was did. You cannot make the things like they everywhere. You must to change, and the school must be the center of this changing because the is the first contact that we have with the great things developed in society. It's the school, the
The
center
beginning.
of civilization. If you can think in this way, the school is the way to make a civilization because we when we are kids and enter in the school, we are like little monkeys. When we are kids, we don't know even how to behave, and the school changes. But if the school is designed to keep the things like they are, the school will not change nothing. His methodology is precisely this to make the student the center of the changing.
Are there any specific methodologies in teaching?
I can give to you an example. He was famous because he said that could teach someone to read in 28 days, in 4 weeks. And he started to teach like a fisherman. He would not start to teach this man how to read and how to write with Shakespeare books. He will start to teach this man to how to read and how to write fish, line, hook, and other nets or other words that's connected with his reality in work and life. Here in Brazil, we had the old model of teaching was totally disconnected with our reality. We had a lot of methodologies that was bring from Europe, France or Portugal, and was not adapted to our reality, to our people. And Paulo Freire said that the best way to teach someone is using things for the environment.
Exactly. Me and Angel for sure will agree totally with you. And we're trying to do the same thing in Bulgarian learning system because there are a lot of similarities and still we're using for teaching little kids words that are so far from their environment. Even from this we can start.
I think that this is not useful because a kid, the universe of a kid is not the same of the universe of scholar that write the book in a university, thinking in persons in other place. A kid is a kid with a kid university.
Sounds absolutely right, but we still have the opposite examples.
Yeah, so that's totally true, and I am happy that a person, a scholar here there at Brazil, understood this when he tried to connect the reality of the kids there with the educational system from Portugal and France, as you said. Even though we know that the educational system is good, it needs to be adapted in order to be at least better, and if not the best, to serve the needs of the persons that are there. So that's very good. Thank you, Leo, for this. It was very interesting to understand a little bit more about the philosophy, and I'm personally going to read a little bit more about Paulo Freire because it sounds very interesting. What was the hardest thing when you tried to realize your vision in school in order for it to be realized? What was the hardest?
Well, I think the most hard is because when the kids come to school, they are already have some things in their mindset that is constructed, that is built by the society. There's something interesting that I will share with you, a case. So one time I was teaching a discipline, toxicology. That's the study of poisons and toxic substance. And the toxicology is a related field of pharmacology, is the study of drugs and therapies based in chemical agents. They have differences, but in the principle, there are something very similar in the two disciplines. And the students of pharmacology came to me asking to I teach them to teach the way to do the calculation of dosage of some drug. And it's similar to calculate the dosage of a poison. And there are different ways to solve this problem. You can solve, oh, I don't know how is the Thales theorem in mathematics. And there are other ways using equations. I teach them to solve by the easiest way because it's the first contact that they were having with this. They answered the exams by this easiest way. The teacher, when read that, said all wrong and do not give none points for questions. And the students came to me after this and told what happened. And in this time, I learned something that's very present and this is essential in our scholar system. The school and unfortunately the teachers are not interested in how the students will answer, not in the answer, but how the student will answer. They are not interested if the answer is right or wrong. The objective of the school is to teach the students to obey. That teacher asked the two students answer by the equation. The students answered by the Thales theorem. It's total. The answer is the same, but the way was different. They break the laws. They do not obey the teacher, and because of this, he received a punishment. In this time, I could see the structure behind the school. The structure behind the school is not to form independent person, but to form people that obey orders.
Actually, it's quite similar here in Bulgaria, and this is mainly due to the fact that the educational system is not that different. So yeah, I can relate to what you are saying. My question is, do you think that the system is like this, or actually the people that are inside the system are trying to force these rules? Because from my point of view here in Bulgaria, we have a lot of teachers that are trying to change this. And yes, still there are more of these that are trying to obey the rules and to force kids to obey the rules. But more and more teachers are trying to change this. And actually, if I can say here in Bulgaria, the actual outcome is the most important. And if we can say this to our teachers, that they need to focus on the outcome and not the exact means of going there, the kids will be happy, they will learn more, and the actual result is going to be better.
Yes, I think that this is the best way to teach because people are different one each other. And these differences make people choose different ways to solve the same problem. We know that in nature, basically nothing have just one solution. Almost everything have more than one solution. And we force the kids to get just one way to solve a problem. And this is wrong because this cut the creativity of the kids. This turn the people like a bonsai. Sorry, I do not find a better word to to express, but when I look at kids, I think they are making a bonsai with this kid, because what could be a big tree in truth will be a small tree, because they cannot grow in freedom.
That's very nice
The
comparison.
metaphor.
Yeah, and I like it very much. Yeah. Okay, what do you think can be done in order to help these teachers change their way of doing things?
Well, I think that the first thing that the teachers must do is have conscience that this happens, because I saw a lot of my colleagues that could not look this happen in the front of them, but they look but do not see what's happening, because we are teaching in this way too. We were formed in this school, and because of this we think that this is normal. We normalize what is not normal, and it's hard to perceive that we are repeating the same mistakes.
Why do you think they don't try to see this issue the same way you do?
Well, I can say by my experience that the school do not permit. The school have a system that the teacher must do this, and that, and cannot go out of this. And this is hard to break, because this need not just from the teacher but the school. The teacher alone is not able to do a great difference, because the teacher is held to school. And I think that the problem is not just the teacher but the school system.
And so the teachers are afraid to try. They prefer to obey the rules of the school. Am I understand you right?
Yeah, I don't think that they are just afraid. Maybe it's hard to say what is real. It's afraid of, maybe it's just they are tired. I
Okay.
I don't.
Bored from doing the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, you came to this system and you immediately started doing something different. Yeah, so it's possible, and I'm 100% sure that it's possible, because even here in Bulgaria we see this also every day. We have the same recordings like this with you, with already 15 teachers in Bulgaria. All of them are the same like you. They say, okay, the system is like this, and I see a lot of teachers around me that are doing this, but I'm deciding to change this, and I'm deciding to do something interesting, something different for the kids. And all of a sudden these kids learn more, they know more, and they go more, they go further, they want to study even more. So that's possible, and I see that this is, and I'm really happy that you are also doing this there in Brazil, because I really think that this is needed everywhere around the world.
Do you receive the support for your efforts from kids' parents?
No, because I cannot blame the parents. But in truth, I had few contact with the parents. Unfortunately, here we have the teachers have few contacts with the parents. Who have more contacts are the supervisors in school. Me personally, I have few contacts, just 4 5 cases, but I had no more contacts with parents.
Do you think that this is needed and it's going to be beneficial for you if you had more contacts with the parents?
Oh, sure, for sure. I think that yes. I remember one case that I could talk with the mother of a student, and the mother said me what was happening with the student, about family and personal problems, and this made me more comprehensible with this student. And I think that this is the problem. We don't know what is behind the student. We know just the student in school, but not the humor behind the student.
And how do you think this can be facilitated more? Do you have any ideas or suggestions? How can we help teachers and parents work together more?
I think that we will touch in a problem that is time. That is a real problem today. Time. Parents don't have time to go to school. Teachers don't have time to do a lot of meetings in the week, and this is a real problem. I really don't know how to solve this in an easy way because it's hard. It's really hard. The parents have no time. They work every day. They work all day. Teachers are working too. It's really hard to fit the time of the both parts.
Yeah, I understand that. Tell us a little bit more about the current situation in the schools in Brazil and what is happening, because we know that you're the second largest population of affected by the coronavirus. So how is this treating the kids, and how was the end of the school year, if you know?
Well, I will say about because in this time I am teaching by e-learning on internet to students, and I can see my friends with small kids at home. They are almost crazy because the kids at home, it's terrible. The parents are not. They don't know how to handle with this, and it's not easy really. The students are having lessons by internet, but the parents have no experience in this, and now the parents are seeing with their eyes that it's really not easy to be teacher. Well, since the beginning of the quarantine, the lessons were suspended in all schools, and schools, universities, we do not have the more activities in the place. Everything is by internet, and it's a problem because the parents, or most of them, do not have experience in with their own kids. The problem is the system was not prepared for this. The teachers, some of them have the tools to do this, but other teachers not. The parents the same. Some of them do not know how to handle this, and it's a real problem. This year specifically, the exams to university was suspended. To other year, the students do not know even if will have or not. It's a problem. In this year, the lessons will not back anymore. Just in next year. In schools, they are thinking in back just in September, but some schools don't know if we'll back this year too.
Okay, and you said that the exams were suspended, so there were no exit exams this year in schools.
The exams to join the public universities. It's this.
How the people are going to join the public universities from next year, let's say.
Well, in truth, think that still not know. In the state universities, I know that they are analyzing the history of students in the school. But the federal universities, I don't know how will be. They think that they are planning to do an exam next year, to starting next year. But the exam that should be in now in 2020 will be just in next year.
Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, we didn't have such kind of issue here in Bulgaria, and that probably is one difference, because we actually made the exit exams in Bulgaria on site, so everyone got finished. So yeah, but that's interesting. Yes, that's very interesting. Okay, what else do you think? What is the, how can I say? Let's go as something that you see from us. And now, talking to you, we really want to help every kid in Bulgaria, but we also want to help people outside of Bulgaria learn more, study more, and understand the world around them more. So, if you think that we can do something for you, whatever it is, what can this be from me and Victor?
This is a hard question, but in truth, I would say this pandemic time really bring a lot of confusion to my person because even in the worst nightmares, I never thought that something like this could happen. In my vision, the pandemic was something from the past. It's not possible anymore. I really don't know. I admit that I was caught by surprise in this time. I don't know what to do. The problem is that everyone here, almost everyone, wants their lives back to normal. But we know that nothing will be normal, not in the present time, and in the next months, maybe next year, will not back to normal. And we do not have answer for this. This is a real is a real problem to us because we do not have answers. We have just problems. Here in Brazil, it's worse because we have a political problem, serious political problem. We have economic crisis, and now this disease is really hard. It's like a set of problems happening everything at the same time. I would say that's really hard to us to how to handle with this because we don't know how what to solve first. It's the political problem, but how to solve the political problem if we have a virus running free on the streets? We cannot go to streets.
Yeah. So you don't know what to ask of us because you have a couple of things going on, and it's not just one thing, right?
Yes, I think that Brazil now it's singular in world because I think that none other country it's in the same situation like us because the virus is the same in the whole world. Yes, but the situation of the country it's very particular.
Okay, anyway, if we set this aside and we think about your teaching, let's say in university or in school, if you are going to be back at school, let's imagine that you are going to be back at school and you know that you have some friends. I know that you already have some friends in Bulgaria, but now you have even more with the two of us. And you know that you have some friends here in Bulgaria. What do you think we might help you with in order to make it easier for the kids to learn? Because you said that this is what you want to achieve.
Thank you because and you have friends here in Brazil too.
Thank you very much indeed.
You have friends here. Well, I don't. It's really hard because I think that our realities are different in this time. But the kids, I think that what's the easy in them and in this is different in us is that kids are always optimistic, and to them maybe this is something that, and they are right. This is something that will pass. This will finish, and the world will not end with this. This is just a time that in the future they will look to back and maybe remember just a weak memory of this, and now we are looking for this like, oh, this is a terrible virus, a terrible disease, a terrible crisis, a terrible road. But for the kid, not it's not it is. It's just something that will pass. I think that the way to turn the things easy, I think that is just this adapted, not show to kids that it's what I am trying to do with my students, not show to them that I don't know what to do. It's to show to kids that this is something that will pass and okay.
So it's great to see the world through the eyes of a child. Sounds more optimistic.
Yes, yes, I think that this is the nature of the kids is they must be optimistic.
Okay, and if you can say anything to the kids here in Bulgaria and around the world, having in mind that they are always optimistic, as you said, because this is very, very true, and I always see this in my kids also, that when I teach them, that they are always optimistic. What can you say to them? What do you want to say to them if you can say anything to all the kids?
Okay, this maybe is different from what you are used to live, but this will pass and your life will back. And try to learn everything that you can learn in this experience because this is not a common experience that happen in our lives. This happens just one in a century. So keep this in your memory because people will ask about this to you in the future.
What happened and how did you handle with it?
Yeah. Leo, thank you very much for this conversation.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, it was very interesting for me personally, and I see a lot of common things with the educational system in Bulgaria and Brazil. I see a lot of differences also, but what I see the most is that again the team is quite similar with all the teachers that we already interviewed. That they want to help kids and want to be part of their way of thinking, so they can learn more. And yeah, really, thank you very much. And I hope to have another conversation like this soon and to discuss even more.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to participate in this podcast, and well, feel free to ask anything anytime because now you have a friend in Brazil too.
Do you have any experience in podcasting ever since, or this was the first time for you?
This was my first time.
That was a great start. I wish you more and more interviews, and hope hearing from you soon again.
Oh, the same.
And one last thing.
Yes,
Do you have a favorite teaching joke?
I was going to ask the same thing, Vicky.
I hope so. I think so. Yes.
There are a lot of jokes here in Brazil about
For sure.
schools that it's the even this I learned that I know that in Bulgaria there are some similar jokes that involve a little boy that is often smart boy and with cases is like I know that here is Joãozinho that means like something little John. And I know that there it's Ivan.
Okay. Yes. In Bulgarian, it's Ivan.
Which is exactly the same, actually.
Jorginho. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Tell us
Yes.
about Jorginho.
Yeah.
There are one. In the school, the teacher was talking about animals. Why is the utility of a sheep to like Mariazinha? It's like little Mary. And she said, it's to produce wool. And why it's the utility of a chicken? It's to give eggs. And why it's the teacher asked to Joãozinho, that is like Ivan, why is the utility of a cow? And Joãozinho answer, to give us homeworks.
Okay.
The utility of the cow is to give us homeworks.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
Need some language skills, and it's good joke. Thank you very much indeed, Leo.
You're welcome. You're welcome.